So this is our first day with a purpose at the Herbarium, and we're looking at the landscape zones in the Shire of Ravensthorpe. It's so diverse and so extraordinary. You can see up here the Great Western Woodland, the rabbit-proof fence. We're going to be focusing a lot of our attentions in on this area, which is here, the Ravensthorpe Range. Nathan McCoy has given us a list of 13 families, all of which have endemic species to the range. So that's going to be our starting point, is to focus in on finding those species in the herbarium and photographing them and setting about the process of drawing them. Sound fun? This is two artworks in process about the Ravensthorpe region. One inspired by our time thus far at Quail Up, and the newer one that we've just started on is Ravensthorpe Range, and we're here with Nathan McCoy, landscape ecologist. So tell us about this place, Nathan.
Herbarium.
Yeah.
The herbarium is a result of the people involved with the Wildflower Show, and principally Merle Bennett and Enid Tink, and the people that set the Wildflower Show up initially, and then with Merle wanting to be a much more professional, not just a show, but do more with it, with the flora, because it's such a rich flora, it's a rich community. Merle had the idea to have and Enid, I think, to have this herbarium. So they, with the Regional Herbariums Project, that was a thing of Greening Australia, and with Lottery West support, you can see on the wall up there, they put it together with compactuses as the proper way in how a herbarium should be organised and constructed with this sort of gear, as well as the microscopes and these tables and a proper facility to house not just the specimens, but enable the study and the use of them for scientific pursuit, and to get the community's heads around the asset that they've got out there in the bush. Is now there's a commensurate asset here like this.
Can we go in and have a look inside?
Yeah, so how it works is that you can open them up, they're on rails, and bring them together. So you can put a lot of specimens mounted like this, properly organised on the shelves, in a controlled environment too, air-conditioned room and everything. So that it's easy to get them out and put them down there and look at them, and go to them with a microscope or a hand lens. And this is the international standard for plant collecting. And here's the regional nature resources stuff from Greening Australia and Alcoa, sponsored by back in the in the 1990s. That program was. So yeah, it's quite well organised.
And
Proper standard.
what struck us since we've been here is the sheer overwhelming diversity up in the range itself is just staggering.
It is
staggering. The number of endemic species.
50 endemics in a small area like that is quite remarkable. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's huge. The Stirling Range has got about 84. Mount Lejeune 21. North, the Durian way. The Fitz down there 75 or so. Big areas, but Ravensthorpe Range is a smaller. Well, Mount Lejeune is the smallest area, 30,000 hectares. The range is 100,000, I'm guessing. Fitz is 300,000. Yeah, the range is a small area. It's got 50. So
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to turn an endemic species into a critically endangered species if you clear it.
Yeah, that'll happen. Or it can just be the common way. If you get a big difference in substrate, like the range is, and the weathering products that, and it's very old, and a temperate climate, a place like southwestern Australia, you're going to throw up difference, and it does. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's in things like eucalypts, Dryandra, Kunzia, Melaleuca. Yeah, all the main, not odd stuff. These are big genera. Yeah, several eucalypts are endemic to the range. It's just including that one. Well, hang on, here's the thing. It was thought to be endemic to the range, but it's subsequently been found down at Hammersley Inlet on the site, on very similar substrates on the side there. And Jill Craig found a small stand of it in a gully halfway between here and the coast. So down the Never Never down between here and the coast. So it's not quite endemic to the range, but as you could call it that.
We did hear a story from Kingsley, didn't we, about a particular site where they'd found a lot of endemic species, and then it was mined, unfortunately.
Bandle up here?
Yeah.
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 It's an outlying patch of Ravensthorpe to the east,
Yeah. Yeah. What was the Abyssa? What's the name of it?
Abyssus.
Oh,
Abyssus.
Herbarium abyssus, yeah.
And they named it because they found it on the edge of a...
It was on the edge of it had two meanings. It was on the edge of a cliff or something.
A mine site, wasn't it?
A big mine,
So
digging,
it was on the edge of that, as in, facing the abyss. But also the fact that it was highly likely to go extinct. So it's had two
names,
double meanings
for
in
being
that one
on the
name.
abyss, yeah.
So the message, to mining at the Ravensthorpe Range is maybe go mine somewhere where there's not this kind of incredible endemism of species and things.
Or if you're going to mine, it's easier said than done, I suppose, but do it by following the veins along, not just clearing the top off.
Yeah, spend more money, go underground.
Yeah, go under and
Go under.
seek it out and don't cause a big surface damage. Yeah.
Yep.
So, but it's testimony to the community here that they recognise the richness of the flora and protect it, so that display it like this whole thing does, and then research it, which is what this is all about, and then do artworks on it, which gets you the likes of you guys here, which is just very wonderful.
It's been fantastic working here. The community are just
They're good.
Wonderful. Very enthusiastic.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Incredibly helpful. And they clearly love living
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They're very arty mob. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. And so the course that, we were in that foundation stages of when we were working at Mount Magnet and teaching the workshops, we'd now put it all into a course, and we've offered that free of charge to the community for the duration of the project, so that they could get trained up with the skills that Marley's got and things, and then contribute. So the illustrations that the community does can also go into the artwork for the region. So it's very much inclusive type of thing.
That's good.
Do you have them
45 to 50 endemic in the park anyway?
Alright.
Yeah,
And that would be up here as well, wouldn't it?
well,
in
there
the
are
range.
ones in the range that are endemic. Is
Fantastic.
endemic important or?
Endemic is fantastic.
Yeah.
Anything
Very important.
else?
Yeah,
Yep, because it's very particular for the region.
Sure.
Which is,
Right.
It's not like we're going to do that anyplace else. So
Yeah.
for sure, that's very
Okay.
We're
important.
the eucalyptus epicenter of the universe.
Oh,
So
yes, so
Explain
yeah,
that to
that's
me.
have to be there.
eucalypts have to be. That's when you talk about the tree. That's I'm thinking the eucalypt.
Yep.
That's the main structure of the whole area, really. Like when
Yeah.
you're building a house, the tree is it, and we've got so much structure here.
wow.
And they're just finding new species all the time. So the tree's there, and those daisies are down here. That's, and the tree is connected to the earth, which is the geology which determines what grows here. That.
Including the little guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. The carpet in your lounge room.
Yeah.
But the tree is
The
your
house.
structure, and the foliage is your roof. That's your whole protection, and so it gives shade and food and everything. So that there's
So how many eucalypts in the area or on the range?
If there's not 100, there's very close to.
I think
But
we've
that's in the whole Shire, not
Oh,
just the
yeah.
range.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it just depends whether you're still thinking of the range,
And
just
then-
the range, the study area, or whether you want the whole thing.
But
And
the
then-
range would be very
Quite
very
unique.
rich in eucalypts.
Okay.
But it's also very rich in rare plants.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Rare, endemic, iconic.
And the
Okay,
range,
that's what
the
we
range also doesn't get much publicity because it's also a mineralised zone, and the miners don't want many people. Well, whatever you say here. So let's find Grevillea, which is 175 in Proteaceae, and then we go and get the which is here.
So that's 175 Proteaceae,
Yeah.
and then within that,
these are
there's
grevilleas
all the
within that.
grevilleas. Right.
Yeah. And then in alphabetical order in this lot.
Wonderful. So what I can see is you've got the label, the herbarium label, but at the back of that, is
Yes.
that's the handwritten,
Yeah. The collecting notes.
the collecting notes from the botanist or from the collector?
Yes, yes.
Oh, wow.
So
That's great.
that is then entered in here. So it should be, I mean, it is the same information. Yeah.
That's wonderful. And it's often, from my experience, that stays with the collector. So it's really nice seeing it with the collection itself.
Right, okay.
And so up here, you've got them all numbered. You said, how are you doing this? This is on the families, is it?
These are families? Yes, yeah. And this is a numbering system that I thought was used by the Herbarium in Perth. It seems that they don't use it anymore, but it was how this herbarium was set up. And so we still use it. It's actually a, what do you say? The oldest, the plants with the longest lineage are back here. Yeah, so the daisies and Goodeniaceae are at the other end because they're a more recent family.
That is great.
Is
Okay,
that right?
it's so.
That sounds familiar with how the National Herbarium in Victoria work too. It's that
Right.
numbering system of the families,
Yeah,
and it's not, I mean, you have to understand the historical evolution of that
yeah,
to follow the numbering system. Yeah.
yes.
So what we
Although you don't have to understand it, you can just refer to this.
Much easier.
Yes.
I think that so it is coming back into the clades.
Yes.
It's swinging back because we'll base it on the way the herbarium is set up. So we'll look at constructing a big picture phylogenetic tree, the larger clades, and then within that, the families will sit within that, and then we can source the species on that basis, and that gives us our bigger picture structure. And then behind that, as the backdrop to all of that, we have the regional data on the vegetation zones and things, and the geological structure of the area that supports those zones. That's how we'll do it.
Okay.
Sounds great. Yay,
So
that's a plan.
now, does that mean that you've just settled on clades and not on?
We need
like
to
vegetation?
illustrate.
It's what it means is that the way that I think I'm seeing it is we have 15 petals, so to speak, in our big phylogenetic tree, and now each one of those petals will deal thematically with the collection here.
Right.
But the backdrop of the whole thing, the big pictures of the whole thing, will cover the whole terrain and all that information. But we won't divide up the terrain into those 15 frames. We'll divide it up based on all the work that's been done here, and do it that way. So the clades that we're looking at are big. I love how you've got this set up from the oldest material, oldest in your phylogenetic tree to the younger flowering plants up there. Is that it? So you've got all your flowers up there, do you?
Yeah.
Would
So
we?
we'll just take photocopies of the list. That'll give us the numbering system and the lineage.
The numbering system that we've used is it's on the web. Is it ANPG or no? I don't know. Perhaps I can find that.
If you could send us anything you've got that we haven't found yet, that'd be great, because there's obviously, we're at this point where we've got humongous information that we're trying to refine down on.
If we set up the artwork along a particular system, we still need a species to represent that family.
Yeah.
So you've got special rare
So
ones or
that's-
something that's
Well,
just...
that's the whole big question, isn't it? Like Hapiga Victoria, you would know from.
Yes, of course,
Yes,
take care,
the-
Victoria.
Yeah. I mean, there are a whole lot that come to my door.
So as Rosemary showed us yesterday how to manoeuvre around their herbarium here at Ravensthorpe, we've got the list of families that Nathan McCoy has given us, and we're just going to go through them systematically from the top. So we're looking for Casuarinaceae, which has got an Allocasuarina species in it. So this is the index to the herbarium. And this first column is families and genera. And so we just look through that. And we find C. Casuarinaceae, which is 217. Okay, so then we go up here. They're all listed here. Numerical order, so it's nice and easy. Casuarinaceae is 217. So we go in here. Yeah. Oh, C to H. It'll be in here.
What do we have here?
Siegfriedia darwinioides.
Wow. Incredible. Incredible plant. What family is it in?
Rhamnaceae.
Right. Right. And its distribution?
Well, I think it's predominantly the Ravensthorpe range, and it's not uncommon in the Ravensthorpe range, but it is going to be found other places. So I think you'll find some flowers there that are fairly fresh. There's a, yeah.
I'll take it over now.
I did bring in one last week for Marley, but I didn't expect to find it where I did find it. And the one I found was it was a bit unusual. It wasn't, it was much shorter leaf and much smaller flower. So this is more typical. And then there's this one, which is a Spiridium. And it's got these funny white leaves, glaucous leaves. And it's Spiridium glaucum, which is also in Rhamnaceae.
Okay.
That was removed.
Both of them had a priority status, but it was removed. Why was that?
Oh, they must have decided that they weren't
Enough of
under
them.
threat for some reason.
Yep.
So that one's not flowering. And then this one is a different. So I got that one last week, which is a Guichenotia apetala, which is in Malvaceae. And it's got a really limited distribution of on Elverton Road.
Oh my goodness. This one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Marley might have painted it already, I don't know.
Yep, okay.
So there's that one, and then this is its cousin, or sister, I'm not sure which is slightly different, and it's not flowering, unfortunately, but it just grows up in the northern part of the range.
Incredible.
So I don't know whether there's enough on that too. And that, I think they're both priority. Oh, this is, well, it was priority 1. I don't know what it is now. I need to check. An Ericaceae. I don't know whether you want any more. It's an acrotriche. So it's not really, the leaf isn't anything like the acrotriche that was out that you were hoping to get, the DRF, but it is in the same genus as that one, just in case you were interested. And they're buds, but there are specimens in the herbarium that are in full flower.
This is where I'm thinking, see, I love detail. I found the hairs.
Oh!
I could not measure them, so I had to just put an arrow. And then also in the packet, I found a little black dot like that in the packet. And I thought, I wonder what that is. And it turned out to be that.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. So it was at this stage where I decided that I wouldn't pretend to be a botanist, that I was just draw what I found. as opposed to trying to research and get what the diagnostic features were, because there's not, I mean, some of those collections, they don't have everything anyway.
No.
As in, they've got the flowering specimen, but they don't have the fruiting.
Mm.
And some of the diagnostic features are in the fruiting, so, you know, so I just sort of let go of the strict brief that I gave myself and loosened up a bit.
This is the one that is in progress from Quail Up, and we would use all of this for Bremer Bay. The idea was that we have the ancient shoreline of the last glacial maximum down here, and we've got like the film that we did when I was last here, you know, where you imagined the rivers would flow, and so this is obviously the shoreline of the present up along here. And then
okay, it's very Led Zeppelin.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it is pretty Led Zeppelin, yeah.
That's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful.
Yeah, so this is Marley's illustration in here.
Yeah, it stops it from
And in
looking
here.
like a science poster.
Yeah, it's a very...
Which is what we don't really want it. We don't want it to look like a science poster.
No,
We want it
it's
to be
an
an
art piece, I
artistic
love that.
rendition.
That just could boom down off the edge of the canyon there.
Yeah, and then up here we'll have the islands. We actually wanted to know where we kind of should put them, the mountains and.
Oh, when they were mountains, you know, with the ocean.
Yeah, because we'll draw the mountains. If we even sketch it in with you now, and you say, "I'll put one there," that's that one. We'll put them in, and then we'll draw the water around them because it's meant to have 3 sea levels.
Okay, well, this is the glacial maximum.
Glacial,
Yep.
present, and the Eocene, somewhere up there. So of the 3. So this is actually the idea that we're actually making a real traditional artwork, and then we take all of the elements and we embed it into another one of those digital images that you saw, which would go into the sculpture for Bremer Bay. So it's a little bit more advanced with all the drawing and stuff.
Wonderful. That is an intriguing thing. It's a...
That was the one that we called you about.
That's Conferraminata, which is...
I'm gonna have to write that down.
That's Macrandra.
Yes, I did follow these ones, but I don't think I wrote that one down.
And that occurs in the central... It's on the islands of the Recherche, and on the mainland, it's known in some 5 gullies in the central Fits. Like, where are we? In here.
Can you just tell me the name of that one?
Eucalyptus conferraminata. I'm going to write it down.
F?
It's C-O-N... F-E-R-R...
F-E-R-R...
U-M...
U-M...
I-N...
I-N...
A-T-A.
A-T-A. Thank you.
And it's the... Well, where did you find that?
Where did we find it?
It's growing
It was in the town.
In the town.
At Bremer.
Yeah.
Bremer.
Yeah.
We drove down near the water, and then they're all just growing along the road.
Yeah, it's planted.
Yes, it's planted.
Yeah, and it's probably the Recherche archipelago. So it's subspecies Recherche.
Oh.
R-E-C-H.
R-E-C-H.
E-R-C-H-E.
C-H-E. Beautiful.
Then there's the other subspecies of Conferraminata.
Incredible things.
Yeah.
You've given us a ton to think about.
And I had a go at doing that. It's a little bit rough.
Yeah. Opened out all the ovaries and things inside it.
Yeah, I just tried to get a transition through there.
Well, I think you did a good job.
The Eocene sea, how should we convey the height of the sea level in the Eocene in this thing?
Well, where's...
This one?
No, not in this one. Oh, well sort of in the Ravensthorpe one, really.
The Eocene sea made that bench.
Yes.
Pulled material down as it was the waves are crashing up here. Pulled these, and on all of the fronts of the barrens, that wave cut bench is an artifact of the Eocene ocean, pulling it all down. So Yeah.
And so where we are now at Ravensthorpe, you would have seen the sea very close by here.
And that's, remember I told you about the quarry just down the
Yeah,
road
you did.
with the spongylite? That's,
Mhm.
well, that's ESNC spongylite. Yeah.
Mm.
And that's the other thing, it's in that rock and the fossils in it. So you can get down there and get some of the
Is that far? Is that like, we haven't been there yet? Is it very, very close?
10 k's on it.
Mm.
I would love a little piece of that, then I can draw it into the outline.
Yeah,
Mm.
so that's the evidence of it being under the sea.
Right.
It's got shell fossils. There also you can find, I don't know about there, but at Twitter, it's got the Durandra leaf fossils, kind of things that have washed off the land into it as well.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that, we were talking with Keith potentially about staying there for a time
Yeah.
at some point.
Well, that'd be perfect because the fossil wall's all there and there's
Yeah.
big, yeah, that'd be cool.
All right. So
Yeah,
who do we need to talk to about that? We got to talk to
The
someone.
friends
about
of
it.
the fits.
Friends of the
Yeah.
Fits.
Sure,
Right.
that would be easy.
So if we CC you in on something, we'll send
Yeah.
something. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
So I reckon, just if that's Doubtful Islands, that's Gordon Inlet. That's, well, see, what are you saying? It's quite up.
Yeah, that's the gorge, but I enlarged it.
Okay.
So I'm happy for you to do a little bit of a drawing over it and say, well, it's sort of there, and we'll just mark it in.
In the scheme of things, it's about here.
Oh, good. Excellent. We don't have anything there. Do you want to draw it in?
Oh,
Oh, that'd be cool. I'm very happy for you to sketch it in. Yeah, just...
Nice curly tonal work.
curly tonal.
Yeah. This is awesome.
If it's too hard to work upside down, we can fold those up.
Yeah,
so
we
it's
can
good.
fold it up if you want.
No, I can do it upside down.
Oh,
Wow.
brilliant.
Wow.
Um, I'm just trying to edge. It's a rocky headland,
Mhm.
and there's the beach. When it comes to contours, like another rocky headland, another beach, another rocky headland that continues rocky, and there's a big bump like that, and then there's a gully comes down here to there, and this West Middle Mount Barron's about there. Thumb Peak then is under here. Thumb Peak range, so like I don't want to interfere with your, and it's very steep.
Oh, no worries. That's awesome.
And it runs down the other side. So it's a ridge like that, and there's another one here. And then there's Will Burn Up Hill itself here. Like that. And there's this top in ridges like, comes to a point there. Does that make sense?
Oh, you can explain it.
Okay, so this is Middle Mount Barron ridge through here, and that's Middle Mount Barron there.
Mhm.
So, and from the, I'll draw it from the side, and then this is Thumb Peak, would be in here. And Thumb Peak range tops bits like that. So you've got a bunch of hills like this here, and then a huge gully, and then another bunch of hills like that, and an outcrop there, and Twin Bays just here in the middle. Just there, it's a, which one is it? No, there. There's it's a ladies' fishing site in Nongo ladies' fishing spot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they'd call the salmon in,
Mm-hmm.
and then the men would spear them,
Wow.
and that's Will Burn Up Hill there. So from the side, from looking from this way, it's like a craggy, and then it comes up, down again, flat, comes up. And this is
Can I
gone.
just ask, is that your way? Is that now upside down? The
That's-
artwork is on that way?
Oh, that's now looking my way. Sorry, yes. Hang on. Can I rub that out?
Yeah.
Yep, I'll get an eraser for you.
So looking at
One
it.
that's a little bit easier to use.
One thing we can do, Nathan, if you want, is we can fold these books up and you can sit here and draw it that way.
All right.
Want me
That's
to
good.
just...
I'll rub that out.
I'll just,
There we go.
there you go.
Otherwise, we could have drawn an inverted mountain range.
We might have done.
We might have done.
It's kind of wacky, but-
I love that. My favourite rubber is the
I
wacky
think
ones.
there is something like that in Central Australia where the mountain got pushed and it was that way and it got pushed down that way and it chopped off that way.
And here, that's Dempster Inlet. All that.
So good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then there's just a, so how can I do it?
The profile
Yeah. There?
across there.
Okay.
And
Fine, wherever you so wish, yeah, absolutely.
I'll just do that and then the bench. Wire cut bench. Long and it drops down. And then middle Mount Barron comes up like that and then down. That thumb peak up. Down again like that. Down at the front. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the estuary here, and then there's another, it's a sort of steep bump down there. Then there's this wave cut bench thing you get. So in profile, so so that's looking from in, then looking from like that. Hang on, get this right. No, looking this way.
So you're standing on the west hand side.
So I'm standing on
east.
looking east.
Yeah.
At just this one, and so actually I'll do this. It will burn up behind it, so it goes like that, and then this is long up to the peak, down like that. So that's middle Mount Barron there.
Mm-hmm.
We'll burn uphill here. The wave cut bench, which is this bit at the front here, and that's the ocean.
Right.
Yeah, so that's south.
Wow.
which way? This is
South that way.
Oh, south. I thought we
Yeah.
said we were looking east.
Oh, sorry. This is looking east, looking at it like that.
Gotcha.
So
Let's
I've
do-
just tipped it up like
Gotcha.
Should we do? Should we
that
do
way.
this
Yeah,
east?
that way.
And then this is
North that way.
north and south.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, thanks so much. You filled a huge area. That's awesome.
I don't know how to scale. It's not really to scale.
No. No.
Oh, nothing's really to scale. It's an
Nothing's to
artwork. It's
scale.
okay.
And this thing,
Mm.
there's gullies that come. There's a gully in this corner. Actually, I should. It's in that gully.
Mm-hmm.
Another gully comes into down there,
Oh, good.
and another
We drew it in the right spot.
and another gully comes down into, there's like a little tiny estuary thing coming from up the hill. It's in that, so it's in those three plus another two. I can't think where they are. Anyway, this occurs in there.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks so much. That's so helpful.
Wow, we can have nice little arrows going into there. Super duper.
That is
And this
awesome.
is ocean, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Well, it's
so
good.
great.
Oh, I hope, well, it's pretty rudimentary, but hopefully that'll.
No, it's helped us a great deal. That's really, really great. Really great.
So and that's will burn up, poking out from behind there.
Yep.
Is that as is that?
Oh, that's awesome. Let's hold them out again now, Mother.
The twisty.
Oh yeah, that was at the beginning. It didn't. It was like, oh well, we got to get the scaffolding.
Yeah.
What's the
It's hard
scaffolding?
to start when you're faced with the great big piece of white paper.
Yeah.
What we're going to do here is put in the white highlights. Now that we did the drawing and then put the watercolor on, and then we've got to put in the white highlights and lift it all up.
Who's the Japanese guy that does the white?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can never remember his
Yeah,
name, but
it's
absolutely.
like that, isn't it?
Yes, he was the one who he drew fractals in the wave formations.
Okay, yeah,
When
right.
we watched the thing on.
Kasazumi something
Yeah.
we watched. Do you want to fold those two up, Marley?
I just wanted to point out the fire.
Oh,
We,
Oh,
we
the-
went up
okay.
to so
Yeah.
Ben drew that. He's just amazing at drawing movement,
Flowing stuff.
flowing things.
Flowing stuff and rock stuff.
Yeah. So
Wonderful.
I think we rang you
You,
when we saw.
Oh, that's right. I remember
Yeah.
saying, it's like, oh, it was wire.
And what did you call them?
Oh, the
The pyro.
pyromaniacs of some road or something. Yeah.
There's an awful lot of smoke comes off a paddock of stubble.
yeah, white smoke, yeah, pale grey.
Yeah, incredible amount.
Yes.
I was surprised. It always looks like a huge fire. And then when you're there, you go, oh, it's just that
It's
paddock.
just a bit of paddock, yeah.
We were going to, or Marley's going to do it, like put in the killer whales and things down here.
Down there, yeah.
That's why we put the space. We'll float them, and so in here we can have marine life and stuff as well.
Orcas, sperm whales and giant squid and sunfish.
They have giant squid.
Giant squid, isn't it? Oh, seen it. Like,
Really?
yeah, the body, just the bodies, we came up 2 of them that were dead out there.
Wow.
First time I ever went out there. And apparently they spawn and die, even though whether they're little squid or big squid, that's what they do. And the bodies are 1.9 metres long and 0.75 wide.
And they're living down there.
Yeah. And they were 16 metres long, we reckon, because it was only the
Holy
stubs of the
cow! 16 metres,
16 metres. Yeah.
and they're down
Yeah,
there.
they're down in here. And that's what the sperm whales are going for.
Oh, I didn't know that they did that down there.
Here. And the sperm
Marley,
whales
that's
come
great,
up.
isn't it?
Yeah.
We'll do a sperm whale attacking a squid with it flying through.
Yeah.
Great. Oh, thanks so much. Marley, we can put a big sperm whale in there and we can put the killers on that side, or how do we do
Because
it?
then we can show the scale of the squid
Yeah.
Mm.
if it's next to something.
Exactly. Yeah, it's good
Yeah.
thinking. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we were out there the second time. I didn't see sperm whales that time, but the second time I went out, I saw them. And it's amazing watching them. They come up and they just sit on the surface and you can see them just breathing deeply.
Yeah.
Just catching their breath. That's what they're doing. They're
Mm.
just having a spell and catching their breath for about 10 minutes and then down they go again. Because they're going at massive depth to get these.
Yeah.
Because it's an ordeal, I suppose, to dive that
Yeah.
far down.
Massive pressure.
Yeah.
Huge pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the way that they see the world, their brains are very, very different and very
Yeah.
adapted to that kind of ability to navigate through that darkness, and that's an incredible thing.
That is astonishing. Yes.
Yeah.
That's out there, yeah.
All right, so we'll put the sperm whale. That'll be awesome, Marley. A big sperm whale and the squid, and the orcas, and you said sunfish as well, didn't you?
Sunfish.
They're big too, aren't they?
Yeah, big discs. Weird things. Like a couple of metres.
Hmm. All right, we'll do a sunfish as well. How
Oh,
exciting.
yeah, the other 4 things that are out there, a lot of the, they get eaten by killer whales. Beaked whales.
Mm.
Oh, really?
Baird's beaked whale, and like a big, long, big dolphin sort of head. These beak, and then the orcas, the tour see them killing them and eating them all the time.
Mm.
Yeah, I know the killer
Gross.
whales.
Mm.
That's how they got their nickname, wasn't it?
Kill other whales.
They killed, they killed whales.
Dog
They
it,
eat the
dog it,
baby
yeah.
whales.
They do. It's gross.
Oh, it would be pretty amazing if Megalodon was still around.
Yeah.
That would have been a shocker. But anyway, okay, well, that's great, Nathan. Thanks so much for that information. Is there anything else that we should put in? You've given us a ton to put in.
I think it's all pretty astonishing. I mean, I love your hoppergram. I think that is such a cool. I know Kia's very taken by it.
Here.
She lives amongst them.
Yeah, she made a film and we filmed it and then Marley drew it.
Yeah, I'd never heard of a hoppergram.
Well, it was coined by a
She
bloke.
pointed it out.
Right.
And she
Ian
said
Brooker.
one of the students.
Yeah.
was,
Steve Hopper
yes.
was doing it when he was looking at hybrids, and he would get the bits of material, this stuff, and lay it out on his book and take pictures of it to demonstrate that there was, intermediate features between the two, like exactly that.
Yeah.
And it was the old fellow that taught him, a bloke called Ian Brooker, who's a famous, whose names are on lots of eucalypts, so you name them like early. In the middle, not early, others did it early, but anyway, Brooker spotted him doing this and called them hoppergrams.
I didn't realise it was that was him who did that. Yeah, and so I will be titling that hoppergram across here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
Is there any other hoppergrams that we should focus on for this?
Well, there's one you can do with that.
Really?
If you can get down to it and Lamanii, Megacornuta and Lamanii, and
Okay.
if you drive to Mount Desmond,
Yeah.
you get down there to Mount Desmond. As you go up to the lookout, top, you park, and there's a little sort of like a ramp. It's like just made out of a pile of gravel, but it's got steel rails up to it.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you stand right at the beginning of that, right about where that chair is, there's a tree, and it's the hybrid of that and the Lamanii.
Oh. Wow. Would Kia know about it?
I think she does.
Okay. That's great.
The flower of Royal Hakea. I don't know whether it's really not flowering at the moment, but
It was when we were there.
Oh, you're there. You got some.
Because
Okay.
that's them there.
That's them there. Okay.
And that's how I managed to do the
Right.
dissection. I don't know what else is, like I said before, I don't know what is diagnostic, so all I did
Well,
was
it's just the bract. They're not
Yep.
true leaves. They're bracts, and
Yep.
that's completely self-diagnostic. That thing.
We've had
Okay.
a smooth leaf. One plant. It's leaf. There's no sharp edges. It's perfectly smooth. It's like a flowing egg shape. It's perfectly smooth. Look like big floppy Mickey Mouse ears. One. Couldn't find anywhere else. Found one plant, just one. We got a film of it. It's the most bizarre looking thing. It doesn't look like any of the others. Perfectly smooth edge. You can take your finger and run your finger.
So none of this.
None of that.
Well, that's
No.
I wonder what on earth that is.
It was definitely it was a Royal Hakea.
Look this up. Look, say
It
colours
was
in it.
definitely a Royal Hakea.
Just an aberration amongst them.
Just one plant with no spiky edge. Very
And it was
smooth.
the whole plant, it wasn't just a branch.
No, it wasn't
So
just
I
a...
assumed that it had something to do, like it was the seed that grew into it, as opposed to a branch that's doing something weird.
The whole thing was it.
The whole thing. So these, if I can't illustrate from the collection, because one I can't sort of do, there's not many flowers or something, and I don't want to bust it up. Or if there's something that's not actually in there, we'll just pick something that's fresh, that's related.
Yeah, that's okay.
Oh yeah, that's the one that does that.
That's Messalina, yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Like this
Okay.
pen. That's one that does this.
The big one does that. Right.
That's how Rosemary described it to me.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going out.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I'll see you on the 13th then.
What was that, Nathan?
What you guys are doing is outstanding. It really is. It's right out there, and it's so left field and so well done.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Yeah, thanks very much. We're having a ball.
Oh, good. Okay.
Okay.
See ya.